The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everyone, welcome to today's WordStream webinar, the 20-minute PPC Work Week. We are excited that you were able to join us today. My name's Callie and I'm here to get things started. I want to start by just getting some of the logistics out of the way so we can get straight to the fun. We're recording today's webinar and we will be sending it out later on this afternoon along with the slides so you can review them and share them with colleagues if you wish. We'll also have dedicated time following the presentation for Q&A, so please be sure to submit all of your questions throughout the webinar and we'll get to as many. You who are not familiar with WordStream, we are a search marketing software provider with free and paid tools to help you easily grow your AdWords and Bing campaigns. So if you're looking to master all your paid search, we definitely encourage you to check out our PPC University at wordstream.com/learn. During the webinar today, we encourage you to get some social and join the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag PPC20. And you can also follow us at WordStream and one of our presenters at twarner83. Now let's meet today's experts. First we have Tim Warner, our Director of Sales here at WordStream. He has 8 years of PPC experience. He's a certified AdWords professional, recently completed a leadership program here in Boston.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you.
Next we have April. She's one of our senior account executives here in our Boston office. She's Google AdWords certified professional as well. She's been at WordStream for almost 2 years, and she works side by side with marketing and all of our cross-functional teams to make sure that everything, we have consistent messaging throughout.
Hi everybody, thanks for joining today.
So today's agenda, we're going to cover shocking yet common problems we see in PPC accounts. We'll go over 5 guidelines for achieving success in Google AdWords. We'll talk about how to improve your PPC performance in just 20 minutes a week. Finally, as I mentioned, we'll have Q&A at the end, so make sure to submit all of your questions. Now, before we get started and I hand it over to Tim and April, let's get started with getting to know a little bit about you guys. So I'm going to launch a quick poll here, if you guys could just answer it. How much time are you currently spending doing PPC every week? Are you a little confused that you're supposed to be doing PPC work each week? Are you spending less than 1 hour, 1 to 10 hours, 11 to 39, or 40 plus? Is it your full-time job? I think people are going to say between 1 to 10. What about you guys?
I don't know. You know, I've seen, kind of seen it all over the place. You know, we see a lot of people who spend a little bit of time and don't spend anything.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I don't know. I talked to a lot of people who probably know they should be spending more time. So I think a lot of people are going to fit that. They know they should be doing stuff, but not really maybe doing anything.
All right. I'm actually going to go with, I think with C. I bet most people on here are 1 to 10 hours per week.
All right, well, it looks like Tim's our winner. I've displayed the results for you guys today. It looks like 50% are spending 1 to 10 hours, and then some, about 25% less than an hour, and then we're scattered about throughout the rest of the options, with the majority else fall in 11 to 39. So we have a good group here.
All right.
Now, our next poll question to get to know you guys is, what's your biggest time suck in PPC management? So same deal, if you could just select your answer. Is it bid management? Is it reporting and analysis? Is it ad text authoring? Some keyword research? Or landing page optimization? I think I would go with reporting and analysis. I think that's pretty tough.
I bet it's keyword research.
I think keyword research too.
Okay.
Well, it's hard to get insights into that.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, let's close this out and share the results. Looks like a split between reporting and analysis and keyword research with about 30% each, followed by bid management and landing page optimization, and then ad text authoring.
All right, so it looks like 64% of people on this call are having issues with reporting and analysis and keyword research with negative keywords. Okay, I think we know our We know our audience pretty well.
Yeah.
We're actually going to get into a little bit of trivia with you guys, except you don't have to take any more polls at this point. We're just going to dig right into it. So, on average, or what percent on average, excuse me, does a small business waste each month on their AdWords spend? All right, April, you're frontline and center. You talk to a lot of people. What do you think?
Well, I think I know the answer already, but.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. 25% of SMBs waste 25% or more on their AdWords account every single month. That is a big, staggering number. And we're actually going to get into where we see all this information in 2 minutes, guys. So hang on with us and how we're seeing everything that we are seeing.
One of the things when I see this type of data, I talk to customers, if they're wasting about 25% of the spend, that means there's 25%, more leads, more sales, more revenue out there for them to gain from their AdWords account. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you can start doing some quick math. How much is it costing you to generate a lead? How much is it costing you to generate a customer? And then what's your average revenue per customer? Now you can actually start thinking of how much more opportunity is there out there for you.
All right, my question. How often do small businesses, so that's anyone spending under $5K a month, how much work do they do in their AdWords account? Or how often, I guess. Tim, you want to take a guess?
How often do small businesses spending under $5K a month do work in their AdWords account?
Every day, 2 times per week, 3 times per week, once per month.
I'm actually not sure. I'll leave that up to you. You can tell everybody.
So what we're actually finding is that 50%, don't check their AdWords account per month, and that 25% don't do anything in a 90-day period. And this is a conversation I have with most of my customers. The 2 main reasons that they tell me that they're not doing anything is because either 1, they don't have the time, or 2, they don't know what to do. So that's why they're not, getting in there as often as they want to be.
Okay. So where did we get this data? Well, I hope everybody on this call has come through and checked out our AdWords performance grader. And actually, in the next couple of weeks, we're releasing a new grader that you guys should all stay tuned with as well. But essentially, our grader, it's an amazing free tool. You can come in, get a baseline of your AdWords performance. You're going to be able to see exactly how you are performing based off of your competitors in the industry and also in the similar spend range. So at the time, we've graded, I think the number staggeringly is actually up to like $25 billion in ad spend. And April, maybe you can even take it from there. $5 billion of that being actual unique spend.
Yeah, the grader tool is great because what it actually will let you do is get really just an audit of your account. Will help you find holes or so that you can, put some action items around them. And on average, these are the results that we're seeing. 1 to 4 accounts have no negative keywords, the quality scores are low, and as we mentioned, obviously, the optimization piece. But really what that comes down to is that, they're not controlling how much they're paying for their leads or how much they could be getting from their ad spend.
So why is quality score important? I mean, why is that something we're bringing up here that we're noticing people having issues with?
Yeah, I mean, what I talk about every day, on every call is your quality score really is just how relevant you are to potential customers. So if your quality, Google wants that they're going to show the most relevant customers, right? They want to make sure everybody's searching on Google versus any other platform. And so what they do is they want to reward the people that are doing a good job because they know it's going to keep bringing customers back to their site when they show relevant advertisers. When they don't, or when advertisers aren't as relevant, that quality score, tends to be lower because Google wants to, again, make sure they're showing the relevant people. So they're still going to give you the opportunity to win business, but because your quality score is lower, you're going to pay more per click, which means you pay more per lead. And at the same time, it really limits how much potential traffic is actually. So, really,
so important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. How about negative keywords?
Yeah. So this one's great. A lot of times people say, I didn't pay for the click because it was a bad search match, so they didn't click on me. But what they don't know is that not adding negatives actually leads to bad impression shares, low click-through rate, which again turns right into your quality score, you know, that it connects right there. At the same time, that's money that could be driving leads and sales. So, you know, if we're not adding negatives, again, we're just throwing money out the window.
So 25% have not added a negative keyword, but actually more importantly, 50% of accounts aren't even being touched on a monthly basis. That's crazy, but it's not surprising to us. I mean, really the reality is, and this might be a little bit harsh, but the average AdWords account for an SMB is a little bit of a train wreck, and we can say that. You know, we've seen more PPC data than any other company out there, except for Google, and that is through our grader, that is through our PPC advisor, that's through, you know, these accounts that we manage here in-house, and we're able to come in and really point people in the right direction. But a big problem with that is people don't know what to do when they log into their Google AdWords account. So hopefully we can give some people direction today on this call, and you can see how you can do that really efficiently as well. But what we've been able to do from our grader, from our software clients, from the people that we're managing in-house, is we've really boiled it down to 5 things that we know to be true about being successful within Google AdWords. And number one is PPC is hard. You know, we're kind of in a different position than a lot of companies where we've been doing this for a very, very long period of time. Every single person that is here is Google AdWords certified, I think through at least the 2 tests that they gave you, right?
Yep.
But we know that with some tools, we know that with some direction, with some conversion tracking and educating yourself, that you can make it a lot easier and get a lot better results.
Yeah, I think it also comes down to it's hard because the tool set, in essence, really wasn't built for the SMB customer in mind, the people that are stretched really thin with their time because they have a ton of other responsibilities. And so because of either not knowing what to do or not having the time, they don't do anything. And when you don't do anything, your results don't change.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like, well, maybe they do now, but not when I was in school. They don't offer courses on Google AdWords, on how to manage Google AdWords accounts. But yeah, I mean, those folks that are using tools, you know, whether it's a homemade tool somewhere in Excel or something like WordStream, a third-party tool, we're seeing those folks getting a lot better results than trying to go at it alone.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely comes down to what you get. What you put into it is what you get. And so, you know, I've been referring back to the customers because what I do all day is try to help people identify like the holes or gaps that they're having in their accounts and try to, you know, put some action items around them. But a lot of people tell me they don't think or they're not sure if AdWords is going to work for them. And when I ask them, you know, how often they get into AdWords or optimize, they tell me they go in, a lot of people say they actually go into AdWords, you know, often, but all they do is look at the metrics. They don't actually know what actions to take. And so one of the things that I kind of relate back is, well, our platform, and again, just a tool set like you mentioned that does it in like a 20-minute work week, we found that by taking like even just 20 minutes every week, that from our audit at the end of 2014, that our clients were seeing an increase in leads and sales by about 63%, and we're lowering their cost per acquisition by 9%. So, you know, that's right there. The 20 minutes is showing those type of results. And so if you can just put a little bit of time towards this every day, you're going to start seeing those results as well.
So essentially, if you just log in and do a little bit of work, you're going to get better results.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Make sure it's the right work.
The right work, yeah. It's definitely got to be the right work.
You don't want to just...
Not just looking at the metrics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, you want to do some work with your keywords, right? And so being able to know how to pause, how to fix, how to kill irrelevant, underperforming, bad type of keywords is paramount. And that comes down to adding negatives into your account. That comes down to making sure that your keywords are bringing you conversions weekly or monthly, whether it's a telephone call or a form fill or even, you know, if you're in e-commerce, someone purchasing off your website. Being able to track this sort of stuff is so important. And what I want to stress to you guys is there are options available to you then rather than looking at a keyword and saying, hey, you have a great click-through rate, or hey, you have a great quality score. Now there's certain places out there where you can find how to see how many calls is this keyword generating for me, how many form fills is this keyword generating for me. And I hope you guys are already doing that, and if you're not, then maybe we can stick around after and speak real quick. But this all comes down to keeping your house clean.
Yeah, you got to also have goals. one of the first questions I talk to with people is, you know, how many leads or how many sales are you getting from AdWords? And I usually ask them if they're happy there, and if not, you know, I actually like sit with them and say, let's put some plans around this. Let's put some goals. You know, how many leads or sales do you want per month? How much can you actually pay for a conversion to make it still be a profitable venture for you? And so we typically start with like setting our end goals first so that we can put the action items behind them.
Cool. And so it's more like what's your current state versus what's your desired state?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, you can even get even simpler than that. I mean, you can come down and say, okay, my goal this week is to change 2 of my underperforming ad text.
Yep.
My goal this week is to try to get in and do 5 of these simple tasks, right? Add negative keywords, add long tail keywords, change some ad text. That can be your goal as well. Just get in there and do one thing. So we actually have one more poll. I think we have 2 more polls, but we'll get through this one real quick. We want to see how many people on the call actually have goals within their account.
And it can be, you know, how many leads you're looking for, how many sales you're looking for, or even like Tim said, how many new keywords, you know, add in 5 keywords this week, or eliminate 5 underperforming ones.
What do you think? Daily, weekly, monthly, or never? April? Majority of people.
That's a tough one. I would say closer to C or D.
Okay.
So the results are in, and it looks like 40% of our attendance today is setting goals monthly, followed by a large majority of 37% are never setting goals. So as you guys now know, they're very important, followed by 20% weekly and 4% daily.
Awesome. Awesome. Let's keep moving along, but maybe some of those folks can stick around after and ask some questions, do a little bit of Q&A, and see if we can help you guys out. 5th thing we know to be true is that 50% of people who are running Google AdWords accounts and maybe SMBs and maybe 50% of the people on this call are not tracking your conversions. And that's not tracking telephone calls, that's not tracking form fill-outs, and if you're e-commerce, that's not tracking sales coming through Google AdWords and tying this information back to Google AdWords. It's almost like taking a dart and throwing it and hoping you hit something and blindfolded, I guess, right? Is the saying.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. This is so incredibly important. You want to know what keywords are bringing you guys sales. You want to know what keywords are bringing you a certain amount of sales. You want to know what keywords are generating revenue for you. That way we're not going about this blind. That way we can actually take an extremely targeted approach to delivering more business, right? Imagine coming back at the end of the month and knowing that there's 5 keywords in my account that just continue to bring me revenue, and there's 200 keywords that are not bringing me any revenue. What would that mean for your bottom line? I mean, to me, it's the #1 no-brainer when it comes to Google AdWords. What do you think?
It is literally the #1 action item I put on my PPC success plans for the clients that I work with. #1 is we need to track conversions, because if you're not tracking conversions, how are you going to know what to do, like you're saying? But it's also, again, if time is of the essence, trying to sift through all that metric data to make a decision is so difficult, where looking at the metric data of what is driving conversions is so simple, and it's the most accurate and effective.
Well, I always think back to that John Wanamaker quote where he says, 50% of my advertising works. I just don't know which 50% that is.
Yeah.
You can fix that problem. You can understand 100% what works, and now you can actually understand 100% of what doesn't work as well. So when you're dealing with Google, it's such an amazing tool that you can actually now figure out how to increase your revenue and how to increase your leads. And hopefully we can show you how to do that in 20 minutes a week, actually.
Are we going to do another poll question?
Oh, did I skip the poll question? I'm sorry, guys.
I like the poll
last poll question. I'm sorry. Everyone's probably freaking out that we're just giving you guys poll questions, but this is the last one, I promise. I want to know who is tracking conversions. And again, if you need some Q&A at the end, feel free to type into the chat box.
Do you guess, Tim?
50% of people are not tracking conversion. So, I don't know. All right, so what do we got? It looks like 45% of people chose A, that they track their form fills and e-commerce. 31% of people have form fills and telephone calls. 4% of people just track telephone calls. 10% I can't see my conversions through my AdWords account. And 10% wish they could track their calls. Now, I've got a lot of different people on the call too again, and these polls are great because it gives me in April a better understanding of what direction to go with the presentation. All right.
Yeah, this actually, when I see this slide, it reminds me of the John Wanamaker quote again. You know, what half is not working, and what I love about pay-per-click advertising is it's really the first solution to that problem, where you can actually identify what is working and what's not working, and whether it be through form fills, through sales, and now through phone calls as well, you can get that full picture to really make sure that, you know, you're making the right decisions for your business and for your account.
Okay.
And I like to talk about, you know, phone calls, because I feel like this is one area where, you know, if there's a phone number on your website, should you be tracking that? You know, are you trying to drive phone calls? Are phone calls hot leads for you? And we definitely see that in some areas, kind of the ones listed here. You know, the majority of their leads are coming from phone calls, but they've never been able to track them and haven't been able to optimize for them. And, you know, if you want to get that full picture, now you can do that. So you can identify, you know, what is making my phone ring? You know, if I knew that certain keywords were making my phone ring 10 times per day, I'm probably going to put a lot more money towards those keywords and eliminate, you know, the ones that aren't.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want that phone to ring more.
Yeah, and what we want to stress is optimize your PPC account for all types of leads. Go beyond just the bid adjustments. Don't just say, well, I fell down to position 3, I got to get back up to position 1. Let me just jump my bid up. Why? What if that keyword's not working for you? What if it's just costing you a whole bunch of money? And just take it a step further. You know, find new keywords. People are searching thousands of different ways for your product, for your service. And the stat that I love to talk about with people is that every single day, Google's generating about 2 billion searches on Google.com. 20% of that number are keywords they've never even seen before. 400 million, give or take, every single day. Keywords that they've never seen before. People are searching differently. Do work on those keywords that people are using to find you that you don't know about. Add them into your account if they're incredibly relevant. I mean, what if there's keywords you're not bidding on and you're getting telephone calls for? Some people might say, hey, that's a good problem to have. And it is. But imagine if now you can actually place a bid around that keyword. You can bring it in and have an ad text that talks directly to that keyword. Now my relevancy score goes up. Yep. Now I paid less for that click. I actually paid less for that phone call. And then on the flip side, what if I have keywords that are constantly, or search queries that are just constantly bringing me clicks and impressions that I'm not relevant for? I want to add that as a negative keyword. And it's probably not bringing you any phone calls either, or any leads, I should say.
Yeah, this one thing about, you know, the call tracking is you can identify what is making, you know, your phone ring. And again, that'll let you take that 50% that's not working and make it start working for you. One of the things, and I don't know how often you've heard this in your past experiences, Tim, but, you know, people tell me, hey, I'm still getting the phone call, that's all that really matters. But I think it comes down to identifying why that phone's ringing, so that you can obviously make it ring more again.
Yeah, no, I think the quote is, hey, you know, when I run my AdWords account, my phone rings. When I stop it, my phone stops ringing. I think that's a problem. Get a little bit more insight into your account, because if you can handle more business, which never run across a business that can't handle more, why not get some more insight so you can make adjustments very quickly with what we're about to show you and actually increase that revenue, increase those leads.
Another quick tip on that too is, again, you know, those queries that we're not necessarily bidding on directly, but that we're being matched to. A lot of people don't understand that even though they're showing for it, that Google doesn't give them that quality score credit. So you're paying more for that phone call and for that lead than you have to be paying.
Yeah, great idea. And that comes down to cleaning up your PPC house,
Yep.
right? One of the 5 things that we know to be true. Absolutely. All right. So how can I manage my account in 20 minutes per week? And that's what we're getting into now. So think of everything that we've already talked about. Think of everything that we know to be true. Think of the actions that you should be doing in your account every single week. How can I tie that all together? How can I do that? And it's an incredible problem that people have, but what we've been able to do is give people the solution on how to fix that problem, how they can add long tail keywords, how they can fix their bids, how they can work on their fully performing ad text, and then tie that back into how many leads am I generating, and are these keywords actually generating leads for me? So my hope is that when we get into this, you guys are going to understand exactly what you need to do in 20 minutes a week to manage your account to get better results.
Yeah, I mean, earlier we discussed, or actually all along we've kind of been discussing the grader tool, and with that tool we've analyzed billions of dollars in ad spend, and so we've been able to identify what actions people that are successful in AdWords are taking on a a daily, weekly basis, and our tool will come out for you. And so this is really, I would definitely take some notes here, because this is really the critical, the must-do task that you should be doing in your account every week. So a little bit about our plan is really what our tools do for you. Again, it's that tool set. What we've done is we analyze your actual customer search data, and it's like having an assistant to do all the analysis, all the number crunching, and then laying them out to you in a few, quick, actionable items to follow. And again, so here are the what I consider the must-do tasks. So if you're not sure what to do in AdWords, write these down. Number 1, let's add some negative keywords. Adding negative keywords is going to eliminate waste. So we're telling Google, hey, stop showing me for these searches. They don't make my phone ring, or they're not relevant to my business. Again, it's also going to eliminate showing up for irrelevant searches and wasting money, but also it's going to improve our quality score as well, which, as we know, is another way to stretch our budget. Number 2, we want to identify what keywords are underperforming, are driving calls that we're not directly bidding on, and we mentioned this earlier. Yes, Google may show us for searches that we don't have as keywords, and when they do, we tend to pay top dollar if we're not bidding on them. So we want to start bidding on them so that we can get best position and so that we can pay less.
Awesome.
Number 3, let's optimize our ads. So our tool will dig through the data for you so that you don't have to look at every ad text and look at all the metrics. And we'll show you which ones have the lowest click-through rate per campaign, per ad group, and give you some action items, to improve on those ad texts. Number 4, optimize bids. So one of the things our tool set will do for you is it will show you when to increase as well as when to decrease your bids. And the goal here is to help you guys get the greatest return on ad spend. So it's not always about having position 1, it's about having the position that's going to drive the most revenue at the end of the day. The last 2 I tend to look at as more like a checks and balance. Let's review our costly keywords. If we're paying a ton of money, and again, this is where that 50% of our ad spend isn't working for us, we identify that things that we thought could be working, but that the data showing otherwise, we can take some action to clean this up a bit as well.
Okay, so do me a favor, tie all this in and give me 4 ways how this is going to help me do better with Google AdWords.
Yeah, so people add negatives, add new keywords, and optimize ads. Those are the 3 ways to improve your quality score. If we take those 3 with optimizing bids, that's how we improve our impression share.
Okay.
We get in front of more people.
So hold on. So quality score is better page positioning, lower cost per click, lower cost per acquisition.
Yep.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Impression share. Get in front of more people who are interested in your service or your product.
That's how you make the phone ring more.
All right. Go ahead.
So yeah, so we want to do those couple things. It's really, that's what's going to drive us down to getting to those targets. So I know we mentioned earlier setting goals. So if we know we need 5 more, sales or jobs a month, this is how we're going to be able to do it. We're going to stretch our budget so that every dollar that we're spending in our or in our ad spend is going a lot farther.
Okay. Yeah, guys, and think of what we're doing here, right? We want to help you guys make sure that we're not wasting money in my account, and I'm actually using this to deliver more leads, more sales to your business is really what we're trying to do, and that's what we help people with every single day. And so I can't stress enough that if you have not done this yet, number one, you want to run the grader, hands down. Number two, this is a free trial as well. So number two, see how much money you're actually wasting within your AdWords account. See which keyword I shouldn't be getting clicks and impressions for. See which ad texts are the worst performing ones. Coming all the way back to the beginning of the presentation, people just don't know what to do when they get into Google AdWords. This is going to give you a roadmap on what to do. This is going to say, hey, start here, utilize this information, you will get better results. Now imagine being able to do that in 20 minutes a week, right? That's what we want to stress to you guys here, that there is maybe a different way, maybe not better, but maybe there is a different way to manage your AdWords account that you can get better results for.
It's really eye-opening. You know, people will run the grader, they'll sign up for the trial, and again, the trials are a free, free tool for you to play around with for the first 7 days. Same with the grader. It's a free audit tool. I mean, it's eye-opening for so many people that I speak with because they didn't know that they were spending money here, and they didn't know this was why their phone was ringing, and they didn't even realize that, the ad text looks the way it looks, because most people have so much data in their account that it's just really hard to get through it all and to look at it all.
Yeah, I'm not a data guy myself, but it's really, for me, it's difficult to make decisions off of data. It really is. I need to read it in a little bit different way, and unfortunately, that's the only way Google wants to present it to you is analyze and optimize off the data, and it's just for a small business or someone else who's not an engineer. It's a very difficult process to go through. Okay, cool. Well, how to know that you're actually performing well, and again, this moves more into the reporting and analysis version of what you need to be doing every single week in your Google AdWords account. How are you reporting on your information? Well, again, a lot of people, even on here, they can't track telephone calls. They wish they could, but they just can't. You want to be able to do that. And again, what 50% of my AdWords budget or advertising budget is working for me, they just don't know. So hopefully what we've been able to do is we've developed the whole system. And sorry for a little break there. What we've been able to do is we developed a system where people can actually come in, see who's calling them, when they're calling, what keyword drove that telephone call, what ad text, what ad group, and it factors back into the 20-minute work week. So every single week you log into your account, you have that work week, but also it shows you what keywords are driving calls, what keywords are not driving calls. So our clients have the ability to come in and just whittle down their AdWords account and really be incredibly efficient with their money and with their time when it comes to delivering business to themselves through AdWords.
Yeah, it's always good, especially when we're setting goals too, to be able to track our progress towards those goals, and whether it be through looking at, our performance funnel, what we're seeing for month over month with how many more leads we're getting, how much we're paying for those. But even just digging into the little metrics and again, putting those action items around it. If we don't know where we're going, or we don't have a plan, we can't put a plan together to get there if we don't know what we're trying to achieve.
Hey, so I got a question for you, April.
Yep.
So every week you talk, and I just want to go back a slide. Every week you're talking to hundreds of different people. What are they doing for call tracking? Like, what are they using to improve their AdWords account? Maybe you can give some insight there too.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely varies. So there's people who utilize some different tools. There's people who ask questions, like ask where their calls are coming from. And then there's people who, utilize what Google has to offer. Mm-hmm. So there's lots of different methods, but what I always tie back is, does your method of tracking those phone calls allow you, or have you developed a system to be able to take action on the results that you're seeing? So it's great to know that we're getting them, but we got to do something with that data. So
what's the percentage of people who actually do something with that data? Actually, let me ask you a question. What percentage of people are actually tracking their telephone calls?
I'd say maybe 10 to 25%.
Okay, so that's lower than I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, then what percentage of those people are actually doing something with that information?
Well, that was probably more an answer, doing
Okay.
something with it. So maybe I'd say about like 30 to 40% track the calls. The rest of the people want to know how to track the phone calls.
Yeah.
And then the people that are utilizing it, you know, most of the time if they're picking up the phone and asking, you know, where did you find me, AdWords, typically what's happening is they're not really translating that data later because they don't really have any way to do that. You know, if you're taking the phone call, when you actually get to optimize later in the week or, you know, next Monday, whenever your scheduled time is, you kind of forget. You know, you tend to forget, unless, again, you make some type of tracking system and then put it into place.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Thank you for the insight. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, guys, so we talked about tracking your calls. We talked about tracking your overall performance and how important that is to being successful within Google AdWords, and also understanding what works and what doesn't work, right? If you have a way to do that, fantastic. Wish we had another poll, Callie. Maybe next time we can do something like that. But make sure you understand what works, what doesn't work, and that you're acting on that is really what it comes down to being successful with Google AdWords. So just to summarize everything that we've gone over, most advertisers' AdWords accounts are a train wreck. They are. Sorry, that's our findings. We've seen more data than anybody. We know that to be true. The 5 habits of successful PPC marketers. We know what they're doing, right?
Yeah.
We know that they're adding negatives. We know that they're adding in long tail keywords. We know that they're changing their ad text every single month after their A/B testing. We know that they're moving up and down their bids based on how the conversions are working on those bids and what the return on investment is for those. And then they're also pausing, deleting, or killing underperforming keywords.
And it all comes down to putting that conversion tracking on so that you can do those tasks easily. Yeah.
Absolutely. Optimizing telephone calls, do it. If you have the ability to do it, do it. If you don't, more than happy to get in the Q&A session with you guys after to give you some direction on the best way to go for your business. And then don't think of PPC as coming in once a month, making a quick hit, and then getting out of there. This is something that needs to be done every single week. You know, there are people who have full-time jobs, and I'm sure some of you are on this call, where all you're doing is managing an AdWords account, the same one every single day, all week. That's the importance of Google AdWords, and that's the importance of doing this work. Some people don't have to do that based on the size of their account, but it is important to get in there. It is important to do that work once a week to show AdWords that, hey, I am doing something about my account, and also that you're making changes that are important changes, that are relevant changes, that are impactful changes inside of your account. And then what we've been able to help people with, right, is really getting in there on a 20-minute work week and having a workflow and making sure the changes you are making are impactful, that they are making a difference, rather than just making a change to make a change.
Yeah. If I can throw one thing on too.
Absolutely.
If you're one of the people on the call and maybe you just haven't spent as much time or as much focus on your AdWords account, I really encourage you to run that grader, because it's the only way that you're, you know, if you're not doing it or don't know what to do, it's the only way for you to actually put some goals around the areas that are underperforming. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what's going to drive you, you know, more business to your company and to your site. I know personally I work with, you know, clients, and thank you guys, the ones that are on, that I, you know, work with directly, but we don't mind having conversations with you about what the grader says, and we don't mind giving you free advice and you know, insight into how you can improve on it, because at the end of the day, if we're able to help you, you know, down the line, if you ever do need a tool, you'll probably come back to us if we're able to just be a good resource for you. So take us up on it.
Awesome. All right. I lied. We actually have another poll.
Sorry, guys.
So I didn't know this one was coming. This one was all Callie. There's just three things here if you want to choose one. If you want to learn how to track and increase your call volume, we'd be more than happy to have a quick conversation. If you want to learn how to optimize your account in 20 minutes a week, we can do that too. If you didn't like anything April or I said and you disagree with everything we said and you don't need any help with your PPC, you can choose that option too. Okay?
Hope there's not too many C's.
I know, me too. But I believe we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A session.
Yeah, absolutely.
After everyone fills this out. So if you guys want to type in anything into the last page, into the contact us box. You're more than happy to do that. And then also our information's here as well. So after the call, probably another 10 or 15 minutes, you're more than welcome to reach out to me and April directly through a call, through email, or you can call this the main line too. Whatever you guys feel more comfortable with, but we definitely love to talk to a bunch of people.
Yeah. Great. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
So to kick off some of our questions today, I'm going to start with hopefully what's an easy one for you guys. In terms of quality score, is it the same in AdWords and Bing? Is there any differences across the two?
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, they're different. They're definitely different companies, and what they probably track is a little bit different. But at the end of the day, quality score is made up of a few main components. The biggest is your click-through rate. I think it's about 60% of your quality score is made up from how many impressions versus how many impressions and clicks you get. So that's number one. Number two is at 25% is your ad text relevancy. I always say that's probably one of the most crucial ones because what really comes down to the click-through rate is your ad relevant? Are you mirroring what your customers are looking for and giving them an easy, quick response or answer? 10% is landing pages, and then I think 5% is other. So I'd probably say they're probably very, very similar within that combination of what comprises a quality score.
Yeah, and I know we actually have the exact equation on our website and our blog,
yeah.
So we can also send that out to you if you want to send us a quick email and let us know. Or we can just send it out to you.
Great. Next up. So I know you guys talked a lot about goals and the importance of them. So what happens if your only goal is obviously to outperform your competition? How do you measure that and kind of set the goals around that?
Yeah, that's a great question, and actually something I've never even received before, so thank you for asking. If you're just trying to beat your competition, I'm not sure if that's the best way to go about Google AdWords. There's so many different variables within AdWords and within your question actually too.
It's almost like I'd want to dive deeper in, what your return on ad spend is.
Yeah, like if your goal is to beat your competition, I'm assuming what you mean is, hey, I just want to show up above my competition in every single search that happens in Google AdWords. That can be a very expensive way to run an AdWords account. And so there absolutely is some best practices on how to get information on your competitors, and there's tools out there, and you're more than welcome to Google them and see what they are. They give you more insight. We use a couple here, but I'll let you make your own decision. And you can get directionally accurate information on your competitors, what they are spending, what their click-through rate is, what their quality score is, the keywords that they're using, and try to go about it that way.
I would also say, if that's your goal is to always have, best positioning, it's really going to come down to quality score, because quality score is going to be the main component in beating out your competitors, even over your max bid. So you definitely want to make sure that you're taking those three actions, adding the negative keywords that are really underperforming, adding in those long tail keywords that you can hopefully pay less for, so that, and again, be more relevant. And number three, the ad text. So those three things are going to give you that top quality score. But again, that's sometimes you have to just keep throwing more money at it. And I know personally, I like to take a different approach. Let's not throw more money at the problem. Let's clean up the problem and then step on the gas.
Yeah, I suggest getting in there, understand which keywords are bringing you conversions, put more emphasis on those keywords, and you're going to be able to drive more leads to yourself, and hopefully you're a better salesperson than your competitor, and drive more sales to yourself that way as well. And then, who knows, sky's the limit. If you understand that information, then you can just continue increasing budget and scaling from there.
Yep.
Great. So our next question is an easy one for you guys. So is WordStream available outside of the U.S.?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of international clients.
Yep, we actually have a specific international team as well. So if you are located out the U.S., let us know. We'd be more than happy to discuss the different options that we have and how we might be able to help you.
Yeah, we work with a lot of people in UK and Canada and Australia and really all over.
Great. So say you're a really small company, just 2 people, and you're in a population area of 75,000, and you're spending just a little bit, say $500 $500 a month on PPC. Can you still use call tracking, and is it worth the investment?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
Do it. Again, it'll make your job easier. So if there's two of you, what's probably happening is probably time is of the essence. So like I mentioned before, it's so much easier and faster to optimize your account if you have that call tracking, conversion tracking, so that, again, when you're pressed for time and there's only two of you kind of doing what you're doing, you can quickly.
Yeah, and I'd say actually the more limited by budget you are, the more important it is to get more insight into your account. And that way you can understand what is working and you can scale.
Great. Now, can organic search experience guide PPC keyword selection?
Sure. Yeah, I don't understand why. I see why not.
You can definitely add them in, and then I always say if you're utilizing your organic search queries or keywords, you can test them out. But again, keep your eye on them when you put them into your PPC and start putting budget behind them. If they continue to perform as well on the search side, maybe you get double positioning. You get your organic, you get your paid. Just kind of taking more real estate and getting more business.
Yeah, and they probably will work differently once you actually get in there and analyze. Just making sure you're watching, and it's definitely the best place to start. I would suggest, because now we understand what people are typing in to find you. But how is that keyword going to perform when you're actually paying for it?
Yeah.
It's going to be a little different than how you are versus how you're optimizing for it. So it's, again, we're talking insight, right? The more insight you have into those words, the better it will work out for you, because it could be the opposite effect, where your best organic keywords are your worst search keywords, paid search keywords.
All right. Now we have a couple of people asking if WordStream can support both AdWords and Bing.
Yes, absolutely. It's a great tool for that. And when we built Bing out, we asked our customers what they were actually looking for in a Bing tool, and we built it to their request so that they can manage both in one simple place. And again, it's all about efficiency. Let's cut down time and get the best results possible.
Yeah, because you're doing double the work in one swoop. Don't want to dig in too much, but we do have a cool back-end tool as well, which is great for looking up your search queries for Bing, because I know the Bing platform tends to match you to a lot more maybe irrelevant type searches, so it makes it really easy, simplifies the process.
Yeah, we're a premier partner with both Google and Bing, so we can walk you through either one if you're looking to get more insight.
Yep.
Okay, now here's a little bit more of a complicated question for you guys. So say, somebody is trying to convince their boss that they need to start doing PPC, and best way to do that to show that there's going to be a return on the investment, and how long do you think it really takes for an account to get ramped up?
Well, that's a good question.
Good two-part question. First part, how can you convince your boss? I'll talk to him. No, just kidding. Well, whatever. But no, I would suggest building your case. And the way you build your case is you want to start from the beginning. I would do a gap analysis on yourself. And what I mean by that is do some keyword research and figure out how much is the average cost per click in my industry. From there, I would take a conversion percentage. And again, you can look on the WordStream blog. You can look on the WordStream site for different conversion percentage type blogs. And you can get a conversion percentage, and maybe it's 2, 3, 4, 5%, whatever that is. Conversion percentage, I mean, how many clicks does it take to actually generate a lead, okay? From there, that's going to give me a cost per lead. From there, what I want to do is I want to figure out what is my closing percentage. How many calls, how many leads, how many sales, and it could be a little different, right? How many calls, leads, or sales does it take me to convert someone into a customer? From there, that's going to give me a cost per acquisition. I want to understand what my revenue is per customer. And so if my cost per acquisition is really good to compare to what my revenue or my lifetime value is per that customer, now I can start building a case to present to my boss. When it comes to running an AdWords account, you can actually build a budget from there too. So you can say, hey, maybe $1,000 per month, maybe $5,000 per month, whatever the number is going to result in $100,000 in revenue based on these metrics that I've given to my boss or my manager. And that's, we do a little bit of work with that with people when we are working with folks who aren't able to make the decision on the software, and we'll help you through that. We'll walk you right through that.
I think another part to that too is if you currently have an advertising budget, we mentioned this before, you know, pay-per-click is the first time that you're able to really identify what is working, right? If we know 50% of our ad spend is working, we just don't know which half. Well, then how do we really know what we're getting from it? And so this allows you to do that, so that now you can, you know, have that conversation. You can track what of your budget is working and make sure that you continue to go from there. But if you're doing advertising other than PPC, you probably don't even know what the return on it is.
I forget, what was the second part of that question?
Oh man, I have to find it. Oh, how long will it take for your account to really ramp up and for you to start seeing results?
I mean, the beautiful part about Google AdWords is you can get results day one. You can put a bid on a keyword. You're out on Google and the wild, wild west. It's not the wild, wild west, but you're out there. Someone could click on your ad, pick up the phone, and call you, and you can make money day one. And that's why I've been in this industry for 9 years, is because it is so immediate. It is so great. But I hope what you're able to take away from this too is the more insight and the more analysis and the more optimization you do in your account, you get better results. So that's why it takes people, you know, a little bit of time in order to reach their goals, because you have to work at this. This isn't set it and forget it type of work. We preach to people that you have to do this every single week to get the results you want, and you have to take the best actions in your account that you can take to get the results that you want.
Great. Now I think we have time for just a few more questions. So apart from negative keywords, which we touched upon, what about the impact of exact phrase keywords? How effective and important are these?
Yeah, I think knowing which keywords you're bidding on that are performing, you can actually work on like different match type strategies. So you can utilize an exact with another match type at the same time. The one thing I see when I see accounts that are all exact or all phrase that I get nervous about is that you are limiting your traffic and the potential to get in front of more customers. So yes, they can be great for you know, staying on top of waste, but at the same time, it comes at a cost.
Yeah, inexact is going to be more expensive too.
Yeah.
So you could be paying more.
Most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time for more for an acquisition. But also think back to the beginning of the call when we were giving you guys some insights as to what we're seeing. 20% of your searches every single day are going to be keywords that you've never seen before. What are you doing with those, right? So you're limiting yourself with that match type. You're not able to cast maybe a little bit wider of a net for these awesome words that we just don't know about because we are restricting ourselves.
Yeah.
Great. Now I think this will be our last question, last thing we have time for. How should you split your budget, your PPC budget, between Google and Bing?
Yeah, it's a great question. It definitely comes down to, you know, who you're looking to target, but, you know, 70 to 80% of the search, you know, people searching utilize Google, about 20 to 30% utilize Bing. So that's maybe a good starting point. What you also have to understand is with Bing, you're probably going to pay a little bit less per click. So it's definitely a way to capitalize on, you know, a different market maybe that you weren't getting before at a lower cost.
Yeah, that's the exact answer I was just going to give. And once you get into this and you are looking at the data, if you pick up call tracking or conversion type of tracking and you're able to see that I'm getting more conversions on Bing or my conversions are a lot cheaper on Bing,
yep.
Why wouldn't you maybe put more budget as to Bing, right? You don't care where the lead comes from. You don't care where that call comes from.
Yeah.
Just that you're getting that call. So if I can start delivering more of these to myself, you're going to be in much better position than where you were before.
And again, it comes down to the conversion tracking. If you don't know how to track conversions, that's definitely, you know, action item number one.
Hey guys, so if we didn't get to your question, which I'm really sorry that we weren't able to, if we didn't get there, call me or April. Our numbers are right there. You can email us as well. I think my Twitter handle is somewhere on this presentation. You're more than welcome to tweet me. I'm getting better and better at it. But we really appreciate the time that you gave us, and our biggest hope is that you were able to take something away so you can get better at Google AdWords and you get better results from Google AdWords. And if you want to talk, just more than welcome to reach out. We're pretty nice people. I hope we come off as nice people.
I hope so.
They are, I promise.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you very much, and good luck with your managing of your account.
Thanks, guys, and don't forget to keep an eye out for an email with both the recording and slides, and don't hesitate to reach out with any follow-up questions.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.